The rain lashed against the windshield of my old Honda Civic like it wanted to erase the world outside. I'd been awake since 4 a.m., driving strangers through Minneapolis, surviving on dollar coffees and cold peanut butter sandwiches. 6 months ago, Henley Gardens had been my pride, a landscaping empire with 12 employees, country club contracts, and a city's botanical garden under my care. Now, my car smelled like failure, my hands smelled like hard work gone unpaid, and my life felt compressed into a back seat and a broken GPS terminal B spat Vernon Coldridge onto the wet pavement, silver hair glinting in the gray October morning, Italian leather shoes clicking on puddles. He exuded wealth without shouting it, the quiet, confident type who has never worried about rent, never wondered if the lights would stay on. Yet when he looked at me, his eyes told another story: loneliness, grief, decades of regret. "Thank you for coming in this weather," he said softly, almost shyly. "I know it's not easy." I shrugged, used to the polite smiles of strangers. "Just another ride." But his gaze lingered in a way that made me uneasy. Something in him seemed to recognize me, not my car, not my balance sheet, not my bankruptcy papers, but me. We drove in silence, the rain a constant percussion. And then he asked, "What brought you here?" It was simple, but I found myself unspooling my life. The collapse of Henley Gardens, lost contracts, Deacon's disappointment, Mara leaving with our daughter Penny, living in the Civic because rent was impossible. I confessed my pride, my failure, the frozen voicemail from my father offering help I couldn't bear to take. Vernon listened. Not with sympathy, but with a quiet attention that made me feel seen. Then he reached into his coat pocket and handed me a check, $20,000. His hands shook as he pressed it into mine. "Promise me you won't look at it until you get home," he said. "Tonight, call your father. Tell him what's in your heart. Don't wait." I stared at the paper, stunned. This man, a stranger, had given me not just money, but a mission: to reconnect, to forgive, to survive. For the first time in months, hope felt tangible, nestled in the wet leather of my Civic and the rain-blurred city outside. The next morning, 6 a.m., my phone rang. Atticus Brenfield, Vernon's lawyer, told me he'd passed overnight. My stomach dropped. "Mr. Henley," he said, calm but urgent. "Mr. Coldridge left instructions for you. Please come to my office immediately." I drove to downtown Minneapolis with my father beside me. Marble and leather surrounded us in Brenfield's office, but my mind was elsewhere, on Vernon, on the $20,000 check still in my wallet, on the strange, inexplicable connection I'd felt in his car. Then came the revelation: $89 million, properties in 7 states, controlling interest in Coldridge Pharmaceuticals, and a personal letter. Vernon explained the truth. His son Brock had died decades ago, and somehow I resembled him. Same stubborn jaw, same brown eyes flecked with gold, same hands built for hard work. My failures mirrored his. My life mirrored a tragedy cut short. Vernon's legacy wasn't just inheritance, it was forgiveness. He chose me because I had listened, because I had allowed him to grieve, because I had reminded him that some sons deserve reconciliation, not abandonment. I called my father that night and cried like I hadn't since childhood, recounting the devastation, the stranger's generosity, the impossible twist of fate. He held me over the phone, reminding me that even when life collapses, love remains. The weight of it pressed against my chest, a stranger's grief, my own failures, and the possibility of redemption, all intertwined. I realized that $20,000, the inheritance, the conversation, it wasn't about money. It was about legacy, about seeing what matters before it's too late. Days later, a deeper secret surfaced. Vernon's letter revealed a long-lost cousin, Sean Matson, son of Jennifer Henley. Adopted and unaware of his family history, Sean carried the same golden brown eyes, the same stubborn determination. Meeting him in Portland was surreal, like staring into an alternate reflection of my own life. At Vernon's funeral, Sean and I stood alone amidst a sea of mourners, strangers united by a ghost's legacy. This connection, born from grief and coincidence, crystallized the lesson Vernon had imparted: inheritance isn't wealth, it's opportunity to reconcile, to heal, to create meaning. Suddenly, my life's failures felt purposeful. I was no longer simply a man left behind by circumstance. I was a bridge between generations, between lost family, between grief and action. Returning home, I faced Deacon, the brother who had long held resentment for my mistakes. My father watched silently as I unveiled my plan, used the inheritance to launch the Coleridge Foundation, helping struggling entrepreneurs recover, not with handouts, but guidance, mentorship, and support. Deacon's skepticism was palpable. "You're really going to give $89 million to people who screwed up like us?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Because sometimes failure isn't a moral flaw, it's bad timing meeting bad luck. And someone needs to offer a hand up, not a lecture." For the first time in months, I felt their hope reflected in his eyes. The foundation became more than a venture, it was a mission, a lifeline for hundreds of families teetering on collapse, and a chance to honor Vernon's gift and vision. The foundation launched. Every family we helped, the bakery in North Minneapolis, the single mother's flower shop, the roofer battling illness, became a testament to Vernon's vision. I saw my own grief reflected in their struggles, my past mistakes echoed in their setbacks. I realized then that one conversation, one act of empathy, could reverberate across decades. Vernon's generosity and grief, channeled through me, created ripples of hope and connection. The inheritance wasn't a reward, it was a responsibility, one I embraced fully, finally feeling purpose and redemption. Years later, the greenhouse stands where Henley Gardens first began. Sean brings his children. Deacon and I walk with my father. Roses bloom in a memorial garden for Vernon, wild and free, a testament to second chances. I still drive Uber once a week. Rain or shine, it keeps me grounded. Passengers share heartbreaks. I hand them a business card, a seed of hope. Vernon's final note rests in my wallet. Every ending is a beginning, waiting for brave enough hands to build it. And for the first time in my life, I truly believe it.